stress worsens your digestive issues, try new Align Digestive De-Stress. It combines Align's probiotic with ashwagandha to help soothe occasional digestive upsets, plus stress that can make them worse. Align Digestive De-Stress from the pros in digestive health.
Smelly cat, what are they?
Happening now.
The cenotaph should stay on the battlefield.
Cenotaphs can be located anywhere we want to locate them.
Passionate debate during a Texas Historical Commission meeting today. Their decision on whether or not to allow the cenotaph to be moved.
The remnants of Beta are moving out of our area, which means you're going to notice some changes. I'll let you know how much hotter it's going to get coming right up.
Have you registered to vote yet? The clock is ticking on the October 5th deadline, and efforts to get more registered voters are far from over. We'll tell you what one group is seeing and where they will be tonight to help.
Republican senators are quickly falling in line. I'm Camila Bernal at the Supreme Court, and coming up, we'll talk about the votes and the timeline for a new Supreme Court justice.
Video doorbells help with security and peace of mind, but what should you know before you buy one? The news at 5 starts now.
First at 5, the Texas Historical Commission considering a controversial vote that will allow plans to renovate the Alamo to go forward as planned.
The commission is currently debating whether to grant a permit to move the Alamo cenotaph, which serves as a monument to fallen Alamo defenders. Garrett Berger's been listening in. Garrett, it's been a long meeting, impassioned meeting. What are you hearing?
Well, this move has been one of the biggest hot buttons of a larger plan to renovate the plaza and bring it closer to the Historic Commission's footprint. And as whenever this item comes up, there's been a lot of talk today. Hundreds of people signed up to speak, though many of them weren't around when it came time for them to talk. Those who did, including some elected officials, talked for more than 6 hours, including breaks. Now, the cenotaph has ardent supporters who say it should not be moved, not 1 inch, as they're fond of saying, out of both respect and fear of damaging the monument. But there are also many who spoke in favor of moving it to clear the way to better tell the story of the Alamo.
We will create a better entryway into the compound and give the site and the defenders a more reverent atmosphere.
10 seconds.
The memory of the defenders, a more reverent atmosphere than we have today. It would also allow us to do a lot of the interpretation that we plan to do of the site.
The majority of Texans have already spoke on this issue. They don't want it moved. It sits in the exact center of the 1836 footprint, and it needs to stay there. That is our empty tomb to our Alamo defenders, kind of like the unknown soldier.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick also weighed in, urging the commission to keep the cenotaph in place. He went so far as to say the state would pay for the entire Alamo project, which the city estimates is in the neighborhood of about $400 million, if there were a plan that wouldn't move the cenotaph. Now, currently, commissioners are asking city staff as well as Congressman Will Hurd about the plans for the cenotaph's move. We are hoping that they will be voting soon. We should have that for you in the 6. Live in the newsroom, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, looking outside over the Alamo City, we have some sunshine. The sun has returned, though it's still raining in some parts of East Texas as a result of tropical depression Beta as it moves on out of here. And you take a look at the rainfall estimates over the past couple of days, you really see the bullseye, obviously. It is over Houston, especially the south side of Houston, where they had upwards of 12 to 15 inches of rainfall estimated by the Doppler radar. That's in this purple area here, generally on the south and southwest side of Houston. Here in San Antonio, we had almost 0.6 of an inch measured at the airport, but of course a big difference between the haves and have-nots out there in terms of the rainfall over the past couple of days. And there still is some shower activity. It's along the I-10 corridor, especially closer to Houston and even now moving north of Houston. Meanwhile, we've got clearing. We have sunshine. We're getting on the backside of this system right now. Temperatures 70s and 80s, 86 in Divine, 86 in Eagle Pass. That's where we've had some sunshine and more hours of it, whereas locally, the clouds stuck around for longer, so for the most part in the 70s. Bulverde right now at 75. We're going to talk about our rain chances from here on out and some noticeable changes in temperatures coming up, Steve.
Thank you, Adam. And while Beta has weakened to a tropical depression, that didn't stop it from leaving streets flooded in Houston, flooding waist high in some areas.
Cars, people, even a kayaker, all trying to get through last night's rain. Parts of the Texas are still not completely clear. There's still a potential for more flooding while Beta moves out of the Gulf Coast area. Meantime, new at 5, we've learned the name of a man who died after being shot in the chest on Sunday night. He's been identified as 22-year-old Jeremy Davidson. San Antonio police say that he and another man were shot in the 15,000 block of Topperwine. Davidson was shot in the chest and later died. The other man was also taken to the hospital. We don't have an update on his condition. At last check, though, no arrests had been made.
A man in the hospital after he was hit while crossing Marbach Road this morning. San Antonio police say it happened about 11:40. They say the victim, a man in his 70s, crossing Marbach at Horal Drive. That's when a driver who was turning onto Horal didn't see him and hit him. The driver did stop to help the victim, taken to University Hospital with life-threatening head injuries. Police are investigating this one.
2 inmates dead in less than 24 hours. The most recent death was around 7 o'clock last night, nearly 2 weeks after investigators say 89-year-old George Holland was arrested after he shot and killed his wife. He died in custody at the Bexar County Jail. The sheriff's office says Holland was found unresponsive in his cell last night. He died at the hospital. He was arrested on a murder charge on September 10th after his 82-year-old wife, Janice Holland, was found dead inside their home in the 100 block of Mendoza. Both the sheriff's office and the San Antonio Police Department have mentioned that Holland did have some health issues. The medical examiner is now working to determine his exact cause of death.
The sheriff's office also releasing the name of another inmate who died after he was found unresponsive yesterday morning. 43-year-old Robert Cantu was in jail on a criminal trespassing charge. His bond set at $500. He did not qualify for a personal recognizance bond, though. The sheriff's office believes he had a medical episode related to a pre-existing condition. After months of civil unrest, the Louisville Metro Police Department announcing today it is investigating whether any of the 6 officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death violated any of their policies. This as many await the state attorney general's decision on whether any of the officers will be criminally charged. Taylor died March 13th after Louisville officers served a no-knock warrant at her apartment. 2 officers who fired into Taylor's home and another who secured a search warrant are under investigation by the department. So far, none of them have been arrested or charged.
Today is National Voter Registration Day. So if you haven't already registered, today's the day to do it. In the last 4 years, Bexar County has registered more than 112,000 new voters. That brings our current total to more than 1,162,000 registered voters in the county. And that effort is not stopping anytime soon. For months, a group of deputy registrars have been working to make this process a bit more convenient. While the pandemic initially slowed down registration numbers, they say things are picking up as the deadline approaches.
What you're seeing is that there's just so much motivation right now for people to vote, so much excitement, so much desire for change that pandemic or no pandemic, they don't care. They want to get registered, they want to vote.
We're just trying to go where the people are. We are staying safe and masked up and keeping sanitizer and all that, giving away pens, like use it, take it. People are out and, we're out too for a cause.
To learn more about all these efforts, you can watch the full story right now on the KSAT TV app found on your streaming device. Right now, the radical registrars are partnering with Move Texas for COVID Safe Party. They're out at Pick's Bar off of 1604 in Lock Hill Summit until 9 o'clock tonight, and they're going to be registering people during that time period.
At full speed ahead, Republicans say they have the votes to confirm a Supreme Court justice despite not having an official nominee yet.
President Trump says he will reveal his pick on Saturday, while GOP senators work towards seating the justice to replace the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg before Election Day. Camila Bernal is at the Supreme Court with the latest. Camila.
Hey, Steve and Ursula, a 6-3 conservative majority here at the Supreme Court is a Republican dream. It's why so many GOP senators, including Mitch McConnell, are willing to risk many things in order to get their way on this particular issue. And it's also why it's very possible to have a new Supreme Court justice by November 3rd.
Republican senators quickly falling in line, backing President Trump's eventual pick to replace Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I would say that I'm very close to making a decision in my own mind, and I'm going to reveal it on Saturday.
Then senators will be on the fast track, scheduling hearings and a vote, potentially before the election.
We have a lot of time. We have nothing but time.
The last nomination to succeed with a less than 2-month confirmation process was the seat Republicans want to replace, Justice Ginsburg's back in 1993. But in that case, an election was not in play.
This is just unusual. It really is, and it divides our country more.
We have an obligation under the Constitution, should we choose to take advantage of it, to fill the vacancy, and I assure you that's very likely to happen.
The drive to cement a conservative majority on the Supreme Court will have profound consequences and could impact future high court decisions on a potential election year dispute or health care.
Republicans don't care who the nominee is because they know that the nominee will vote to strike down the Affordable Care Act.
Democrats, practically powerless to stop any confirmation, are attempting to convince 4 Republicans to vote against a quick court installation. 2 senators, Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, oppose a vote before the election. But with Utah Senator Mitt Romney's support,
I will vote based upon the qualifications of that nominee.
Republicans have the votes to put any nominee on the Supreme Court quickly.
Well, I'm more than hopeful. I think it's going to happen.
And if this confirmation does happen before Election Day, it is going to be one of the quickest procedures to happen here in Washington, D.C. in modern times. Ursula?
Camila, Amy Coney Barrett has emerged as one of President Trump's favorites to replace Justice Ginsburg. What do we know about her?
Yeah, Ursula, well, the judge right now is serving at the U.S. District Court of Appeals for the 7th District, but she is very well known here in D.C. for her conservative views. She's very well known among Republicans because of her view in particular when it comes to abortion and opposing abortion. She has been vocal about being pro-life, and that is something that both Republicans, conservatives, and evangelicals really appreciate. She is a Catholic, and so they almost can say that they guarantee her vote in certain topics, and that is what they like so much about her.
Camila Bernal reporting live from Washington. Thank you so much.
And don't forget, tonight at 7:30, I'm moderating a forum with candidates for Bexar County Commissioner Precinct 3. Republican Trish DeBerry, Democrat Christine Hortick are up for Kevin Wolf's seat, which encompasses most of the north side of the county. We heard from each candidate yesterday. Tonight, the two will have the chance to talk about what sets them apart during our live stream on KSAT.com. Again, it starts at 7:30 tonight. Video doorbells and digital assistants. Technology has changed the way we see who's at the door, and pairing the two gadgets can now change how you answer. We're going to look at which are most compatible next.
Before we head to the break, we want to remind you about the Head for the Cure. It's happening this Saturday, and there's still time to register. Use code LASTCHANCE for $5 off. This year, the event is virtual.
You can participate by snapping a selfie of yourself running, walking, or cycling a 5K in your neighborhood. Then on Saturday, join Head for the Cure on Facebook or YouTube at 8 a.m. Comment along on Facebook Live and post your selfie on the Facebook event page. You can find all this information right now on KSATcommunity.com. New at 5, video doorbells. Not only do they help you keep an eye on your package deliveries, you can socially distance and still talk to someone at your front door. 12 News Side's Marilyn Moritz with information to help you choose.
Brandon Murphy's video doorbell saw it all, capturing his neighbor's car being stolen in the middle of the night.
We saved 5 days worth of camera feeds off of the smart doorbell. Sure enough, it was on there. Busted.
The evidence helped police return the car. Video doorbells are ringing up huge sales. Global sales are expected to hit $1.4 billion by 2023. Video doorbells offer security and peace of mind, and if you sync it up to your smart speaker, you can answer the door with just your voice. So how do you set up a hands-free front door experience? Consumer Report says it's best to keep it in the tech family.
There are video doorbells that claim they work with digital assistants, but they might not offer all the features. To ensure compatibility, just stay within the same product ecosystem or product family.
If you're a Google Home user, CR recommends the Nest Hello video doorbell paired with the Google Nest Hub Max smart speaker.
Motion detected at the front door.
If you have an Amazon smart speaker, go with the Ring Video Doorbell 3 and the Amazon Echo Show. Video doorbells can be hacked, so setting up two-factor authentication will help protect you.
Someone is at the front door.
Once you're all set up, you can answer the door and socially distance. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Live look outside with Sky 12. They are debating the Alamo and how to renovate it, if to renovate it.
Yeah, specifically the cenotaph, which isn't far from the church that you see there. And, we'll continue to follow it, have the latest coming up at 6. Meanwhile,
sun came out.
Yeah, much different look at the Alamo than we had yesterday.
Absolutely. And, we've had some fall-like conditions here the past couple of days, but things are going to be changing rather quickly. So get ready for that. First, let's talk about the radar and the latest on what's left of Beta. Some areas of moderate to heavy rainfall closer to Houston. So the I-10 corridor, basically from about Schulenburg area eastward to Houston, and especially along 290 there, all the way up to Brenham, stretching back to Houston. That's where they still have some ongoing rain and some flash flooding issues, of course, in and around Houston as a result of all that heavy rainfall. For our purposes around here, we're actually clearing out. We're on the backside of this system. But I did hear from Danny just south of Schulenburg, and he picked up over 4 inches of rainfall from this event. So that was a good, healthy soaking for him. The problem area was especially on the south side of Houston, where they had upwards of 12 inches of rain estimated by the radar. So tropical depression Beta, winds of about 30 miles per hour, maybe some gusts up to 40. Not a big deal. It continues to weaken, but look how far reaching its rain is, all the way up into Oklahoma and Arkansas. And this is going to continue its track to the northeast, taking all that rain away from our area. And actually, we're looking at a pretty sunny stretch here from here on out. Notice tomorrow morning, I think we'll wake up to some sunshine. We'll have sunshine for the rest of the day as that precipitation gets farther and farther away from us. We're looking at a sunny stretch here. So in terms of rainfall chances, it's looking bleak. Maybe a 10% chance on Sunday. And that's all we have here within the foreseeable future. I think that's mostly going to be along the coastal plain. Look at the big temperature difference out there. Difference between clouds and rain and sunshine. Dallas at 70. Abilene 73. Then you get into El Paso and it's 92 at this hour. Even Del Rio at 91 degrees. Clouds, what clouds? Not along the Rio Grande right now, so they're in the lower 90s, but then you head eastward, LaGrange at 74 and Victoria now at 75. Here in San Antonio, we're at an even 80 degrees. Right at the midpoint, we're stuck in the middle between the clouds and the total sunshine today. The winds, it was a little gusty today. You noticed it a little bit. We had some gusts periodically in excess of 20 miles per hour. They're steady right now at 15 at the airport in town, and that seems to be the consensus elsewhere. But the highest winds have been closer to that center of circulation, and even then, not necessarily damaging winds with this. It's just the heavy rainfall in parts of Houston causing the flash flooding. Dew points are up. You notice a little bit of humidity in the air, but it's not oppressive. Right now, dew points in the 60s to low 70s, and they're not going to change. In turn, low temperatures tonight, likely in the upper 60s. So here's a look at what we're expecting by sunrise tomorrow morning. Eagle Pass at 69, 68 in New Braunfels, 68 here in San Antonio, a few degrees lower in the hill country. Kerrville 64. Then by the afternoon, I think we'll all get in on some sunshine. It's just going to take a few more hours to get into that sun for our eastern communities, including Cuero, DeWitt County, and of course, Hallettsville and Lavaca County. Nonetheless, I think we'll be well into the 80s, low 90s, closer to the Rio Grande. Locally, low to mid 80s. You get lower 80s Bernie and Timberwood Park, and then mid 80s elsewhere. A good amount of sunshine tomorrow. I mean, we'll have some clouds mixed in, but generally speaking, get used to sunshine from here on out through the weekend and into next week. I showed you those rain chances are really slim to none. And this fall-like feeling, it's going to be gone. Yeah, we're back to 90 and in the lower 90s in just a few days.
Well, we'll enjoy the next couple of days at least. Thank you, Adam.
All right, the name Detmer resonates with so many high school football fans in the state of Texas.
And for Sonny Detmer, it's not so much of what always he did on the football field, a genius at that, but at the same time, the amount of time he spent with not only his own family, but other families as well, helping develop so many young lives. When we come back, a legend passes away in Texas high school sports. Sonny Detmer passes away this morning. And why is J.J. Watt upset with a teammate? Coming up. Legendary Texas high school football coach Sonny Detmer has passed away. Detmer, who raised and coached 2 college and NFL quarterbacks, and Ty and Coy Detmer has been battling a number of health issues recently, including pneumonia. Ty would win the Heisman Trophy while at BYU in 1990, go on to play 14 seasons in the NFL with 6 different teams after starring for Southwest High School here in town. His brother Coy would play 10 seasons in the NFL for both the Eagles and the Vikings after suiting up for Colorado. Sonny was most recently the head coach at Somerset High School as part of his 35 seasons in coaching, where he compiled a record of 235, 141, and 2. He leaves us at the age of 76.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
The Dallas Cowboys linebacking corps took another hit in their dramatic cover-behind victory against the Atlanta Falcons. Tank Lawrence suffered a knee injury during that game and has limited his play all day long. In fact, he was involved in only 28 snaps for just a total of 5 tackles. You may remember, Lawrence signed a 5-year, $105 million contract extension this offseason, of which $48 million is guaranteed, and then was moved to weak side linebacker by new defensive coordinator Mike Nolan to hopefully increase quarterback sacks, hits, and hurries. But that has not happened yet. Head coach Mike McCarthy says they're keeping an eye on Tank when players report for practice tomorrow.
We'll release a report on Wednesday, but, we're still looking at some guys, that are bumped up from the game. So, he had a knee, injury that we were just keeping an eye on. So I don't have really any status on anybody till Wednesday.
All right, we'll see if he's available Sunday, but the Cowboys owner Jerry Jones made it sound like he'll be ready to go on his radio show today when the Cowboys travel to Seattle to face the Seahawks at 3:25 p.m. Houston Texans star defensive lineman J.J. Watt not happy with a teammate Watt, who picked up 2 sacks in the Texans' 33-16 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. He was upset with second-round draft pick Ross Blacklock for getting himself ejected late in the fourth quarter. The rookie was called for unnecessary roughness earlier in the game, then the final period called for a shove or punch, depending on who you talk to. That was not caught on camera. The result was he was thrown out of the game, and Watt did not pull any punches in his assessment.
Stupid. It was selfish. It was a stupid play. It was selfish. I've spoken to Ross before. It's a very selfish move. It's dumb.
I just know what the official told me, so I'm not trying to. I didn't see it either, but the official told me that he threw a punch, which I think you've probably already know that. So, I'm just saying that's what the official told me, and we've addressed it, and we'll continue to address it today.
The Texans, with their 0-2 record, will have to hit the road to Pittsburgh on Sunday. The Steelers are 2-0.
Thank you, Greg.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
Comfortable this evening, and tomorrow you'll wake up to temperatures in the upper 60s, then sunny and 85 by the afternoon. No chance of rain within the foreseeable future. Low 90s by the weekend. We'll see you at 6.